What's going on, guys? This is my 125 gallon African Chiclid tank. I've made a previous video that I didn't put out. We'll go over that in a future video. It's a big long story, but yeah, man, I wanted to add some fish to this, so this is gonna be a video all about adding African cichlids to this tank. Here's my son modeling the brand new fish. I bought them from CK Fish World. It's here in West Covina. They're an awesome store. They got everything. They got fish, dry goods, tanks, anything you can think of they have. It's an awesome store to go to. It's kind of out of my way, but I go out of my way to go there. So I wanted to show you guys that if you try to put these fish in a 10 gallon, they're too close together, you know, and I feel like they need more space to swim. So this is a 20 long. This is, I think, the minimum quarantine tank. You don't need a lot for a quarantine tank. It's not meant for like long-term pretty purposes. I don't even put any substrate anymore in them. All you need is a heater. Make sure your water is at the right temperature, and you need some sort of filtration. I went with a sponge filter. Here's the sponge filter, and then he's gonna show you the pump. It's a real simple setup. It's basic. It doesn't cost a lot of money at all. I think the whole setup was like $25. Yeah, it works great. You can put your fish in there, and they'll survive, you know. Would they thrive? No, but they're gonna feel okay for while they're in quarantine. This is just to make sure the fish don't spread any diseases to the main tank, and that's the whole reason why you gotta quarantine. If you don't quarantine, and let's say your fish have a parasite or your fish have some sort of ick, something like some sort of disease, they can spread it to your main guys, and you don't want that, you know. It's really hard to quarantine sometimes because you're excited. But this is Prime and Stability. I use Prime to detoxify the ammonia, and it's a water conditioner. It helps get rid of the chlorine. And then Stability adds bacteria, which help, you know, break down the ammonia and nitrite to help with the cycle. You gotta dose these every day, and it's almost every day that is gonna be inside of this quarantine tank. There's just never gonna be enough bacteria to protect the fish. Here goes a family affair. We're putting the fish into the tank. If you look closely, I actually forget a couple fish right there inside the bag. It's pretty awkward. It's weird looking at it. But yeah, my son's gonna let the fish in. My daughter's filming. This is a family affair here. But my daughter goes, "Hey, didn't you have more fish?" "Oh yeah, I did." There they go. It's pretty cool. So yep, they're in there, and you're gonna see. At first, everything looked okay. They looked happy, but then after a short moment, I noticed that they were stressed out. Especially that red one. Check it out. Here it goes right here. He was sitting on the floor. He was sitting there for a while, and that's just not the kind of behavior they normally have. African cichlids like to swim around at night. Sometimes when the lights are off, they get tired. They lay down, I guess. There's no big deal about that, but this isn't the time for them to lay down. So it gets better. I put some stress guard in there. Stress guard helps relax. I think it has something to do with their slime coat. But yeah, stress guard is different than. There's another one that API makes, stress coat, and they're two different things. Stress guard is made by CKim, and that really helps the fish relax. As you can see, they started moving around again, so I felt more comfortable. But yeah, these are my new African cichlids. It's going to be a month quarantine. We're going to start the countdown today. You know, bare minimum, at least May 1st. I know it's April 4th, but I want to give them some time to really make sure they're healthy. I've been burned before with fish that have ick, so it's just something I'm not really going to risk anymore. I want to make sure everything gets quarantined. I'm not going to lie, it's hard because this is a big tank to just put. I've already got a lot of tanks, and I wasn't trying to add another tank. I tried to put it underneath my 125, but it just didn't fit. So that was a kind of a bummer. My better half was not very happy about having another tank in the bedroom. So I'm going to try and find a better place for this tank tomorrow. You know, I'm saying that as I set it up today. But yeah, here goes me checking the temperature, making sure all the temperature's right. And then here goes something I think you guys really ought to check out. G&c Aquatics put out a video the other day, If he didn't put that video out, I would have no idea about this. Your sponge filter, sometimes the air bubbles get stuck in there and it makes it float. I would have thought like you had to put some weights and weigh it down. But nope, you just squeeze those bubbles out and it goes back to sinking to the floor. And the more you squeeze, the more it's going to sink. So I think that's really cool. I'm going to put G&c Aquatics link in the description. Watch that video. It's really informative. Something I didn't know about. Thanks, guys. Thanks for coming. Make sure you like and subscribe. I really appreciate everything. Let's make this channel grow. Thanks a lot, guys.